First of all, I want to get away from the dictionary definition of a constitution. A constitution must have purpose, and the purpose must be to create a nation that conduces to the greatest happiness of the greatest number of people. That is what a constitution must be. And having set the objective of the constitution, you then frame a constitution to achieve that objective.
Because we really do have a race problem. Those divisions are real. We see it in our politics, we see it in our trade union. We see that they take the divisions with them. Look at where people live in this US. You have enclaves in the Bronx and in Richmond Hill and in Brooklyn. They're taking the division with them.
Women are dying in the streets, and we have a government pontificator running around campaigning for women's vote. No women should vote in this election coming up unless there is something done to the legislation as Magistrate Kim is advocating.
That voices like ours that are not in the political trench fighting it out, voices like ours should become stronger. One of the things about the Caribbean is that we have never had one discourse. Bass will know the days of the New World and the Old World and the radical left and so on. What we had was this concourse of ideas, which I think in the early days of independence pushed us in a certain direction. We've got to move back to that point of having these multiple discourses.
Hello everyone, my name is Tracy Can and we are here at Globespan studio in Richmond Hills, Queens, New York. And this morning we are dealing with the topic senseless murders. It's something that I wish we did not have to do because I'm joined by two women who have something very tragic in common. They both lost their husband tragically. And they're now left to mother and father their children. I'm joined by Miss Mary Jagdeo. She is a primary school teacher in Berbice, and Roxanne Duncan, a mother of 6 whose husband was tragically killed recently. Now, I want for you all to have an understanding of what happened to these men, how they were murdered. And so we're going to go into this clip, a news story that was done by Royce and Drake's production on Roxanne Duncan's husband when he was murdered. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to both of these women. As I said, our topic, it's senseless murder. And these women are going to be sharing from their perspective what it has been like to have to care for their children alone and to deal with the loss of their husbands. And so let's take a look.
Life will never be the same for Roxanne Duncan after the life of her husband and the father of her 6 children was cut short this morning in a shooting at Cetus Bar in Station Street, Kitty. The woman was overcome with grief when she learned that the main breadwinner for her family was taken away from her. Dead is Devon Kurt Duncan, 32, of Pike Street, Kitty. According to a police report, the bar was about to close when a scuffle ensued between a female and a male who was washing the floor of the premises. The police report added that the victim intervened and reportedly assaulted the male cleaner, and during the process, the suspect, who was seated nearby, allegedly whipped out his firearm and shot Duncan. Duncan was shot in his chest area. Speaking to this newscast, the dead man's wife was at a loss for words as she seeks answers for the motive of the killing.
I understand how Devon get shoot and kill. Devon don't trouble nobody. Devon is not a person give suffering problem. How Devon could get shoot and killed. All I want to know, and I just like to see. And it's the God, I can't keep it in the person who do it, because Devon, he got to get some reason. Devon don't trouble nobody for nobody shoot Devon and kill him. He don't trouble nobody. He don't trouble people, body. I don't know, they said, I don't know. I don't know why oh my God, why? I would like to know, honest to God, is who do it.
Now, as I said, we are joined by Roxanne Duncan, and she is in the studio at Globespan in Georgetown with her children. I want to thank both of these ladies for coming on the show and sharing from their perspective. Roxanne, I must commend you. You are extremely brave. I know that things are very fresh and it's still raw and you're still hurting because of what happened to your husband. How have you been coping? And I know your kids are all dressed and you're taking them to church.
Yes.
How have you been coping?
I was try to cope and deal with it because now it's me alone and it's hard because it's every night. You feeling hurt and when I custom to my husband coming home 7 o'clock from the road and me and the kids we would do our work and then we would sit down and we would just sometimes picturing like if he's coming but we know to ourselves he ain't coming and so it's a hard feelings to get over because almost my whole life is me and he and then we married and we get his turn so it's hard to get over it and I trying to cope all the best I could with his turn to make them feel comfortable and happy and so along with people helping along for make them feel happy and so and think but it's hard for me it's hard and will make it more hard for me that for know that he get shoot and kill and for know that the kill is out there still somewhere and he turning or he showing up or turning himself or nothing to make it more hard and more painful like glad like if he could just come in because to me like if I get to see the guy who do it I would feel a little better because it's every day is a pain and a hurt. So you just gotta force yourself to be happy when the day comes. It's like nothing what happening in your life or where you're getting could make you feel happy again.
And how have the children been coping?
Well, so far they're being a little happy now because they get some comfort. We can make them happy and take their mind off for it and so I trying to make them happy because a piece of time they would break down. Every time they would cry, they would hold in the picture and lay down on the bed and they were crying and saying Devon, Devon, Devon and then I would got to go to them and cope them and comfort them and so but for now they get certain thing would make them feel happy like some tablets or phone with games downloading it and
It's
it
a
taking them mind a
distraction.
little off it because
Yeah.
sometimes them they study still they still ask questions and study a lot of things. Some of them ask me they want to know who's the boy that killed their father they would like to see and all these things. So I try with my help, my family, my sister, my mother-in-law, we just try to make them feel happy because in them had a close relationship.
Yeah, from everything that I've heard, your husband was very hands-on with his family, with his
Yeah.
children. Tell me a little bit about that, the type of father he was.
Well, my Corey Duncan, he was a good father, he was a good husband, he was a good friend, he was a good brother, and everything a good son. Cause we when we meet each other, I was 16, he was 17, and from the moment I know he until now, he was a nice person, loving and everything. And he was just there for his children. He would take them to school, the little ones, them, he would drop them to school out with the postal card. He would kind them in the when he worked Sunday in the garden, sell the ice cream. He would let me bring them down to meeting. He would take out picture with them. He would guide them in the zoo. We would walk. We would picnic and go to church together. Come home, finish out with Sabbath, and so he was really a nice person. Somebody is hard to get over it. Them children miss him much. I miss him more. I do. I know they're gonna miss him much because it's their father, but it's something really hard to get over.
So he sold ice cream in the park?
Yes, it's like ice cream and popsicle and stuff. This we used to ride with a cart and bring it bell. That was he lived in fee family. This he used to do.
So he was the main breadwinner for your family?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was. He do all the school, provide everything, everything, everything. He provide school supplies, food in the house, everything. He was strictly the breadwinner for me.
And I see that the kids are neatly dressed. You're going through so
Yes,
much, and it's beautiful that you're turning to God still. Everyone is dressed to head
yes,
to church.
yes. As from my husband, he's an Adventist, and from the day I met him, I was a Pentecostal worshiper. I start to follow his footsteps, and from then to now, we in the church. And even though when my husband dies, sometimes I been feel like for stop go to church and don't go no more and just stay home. But I say it wouldn't work like that because with God all things are possible. So I would just dress my son them and my one little baby girl, and we would just head down to church every Sabbath, wait for club, and we would come back home, walk, gaff, and come home. And then right now we have a crusade going on. He did during the crusade process, and I didn't go into the crusade, so last night I started to go, so I could able forget over. I could able forget over certain things,
Okay.
and so.
All right, Roxanne, we're gonna continue talking to you, but I just want to go into this video. Mary Jagdale, who we had on the show there just now, we're gonna get her back on the show for you all to have an understanding of her circumstances, because her husband was murdered about 2 years ago on the quarantine in Berbice, and so this is just a story that was done after she was brave enough to speak. And then when we come back, we're going to continue talking to Roxanne. She's joined in the studio by her beautiful children. Again, I really must commend you for bringing your kids, for getting them all
Thank you.
dressed, and you all are heading to church right after the interview, and for being so strong to come on the show to speak to us. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to look at this video and come back. Mary Jagdale had it all: a wonderful husband, great kids, and a budding career. But it all came crashing down after her husband was murdered senselessly. Daniel Jagdale was a 36-year-old businessman of Williamsburg who was robbed and gunned down while plying his trade as a phone card vendor on the quarantine by armed bandits.
I know I'm not to blame God for it, but like, why me? Why us? Like, it was like, okay, a good life wasn't meant for me. Like, he never did anything to hurt anybody, or, we tried our best to live. He lived for his family. Every single thing was about us.
It was his wife who rushed him to the hospital, where her worst fears were confirmed. The love of her life and the protector of their family was gone forever.
If I was with him that day, I would even take a bullet for him because he was full of so much life. Like, I would even run in front of gun even and let him live. He is the best ever. He's irreplaceable.
Recounting her final moments with her husband, she said he left early that morning and they made dinner preparations, but the meal got cold and he never made it home. 2 weeks after burying her husband, she found out she was pregnant with their 5th child. Already grieving his loss and having to take on his role as a father, she felt like God was punishing her twice because her innocent child will never know his father.
I didn't even know that I was pregnant because we said we don't want any more kids. So I even opted to give my sister-in-law the baby because I know I wouldn't do an abortion. Then within the family made the decision, so okay, support will be there. He's the most jolly baby ever, and I realized that he brought life into our home. He's such a blessing at midst. Like the first month I just look at him and cry all the time. And he's named after his dad. We're not able to call him that name, so we use his middle name until we're able to.
Now she is trying to pick up the pieces and live for her children, but that has not been an easy task because she still feels lost and empty without her husband. Her way of coping is to remember the memories they created with their children as a family. Her youngest daughter still asks, "When is Daddy coming home?" And many times Mary has to take her to the gravesite where she would kiss the tombstone and lay on it and speak with her father. Daniel was the only son for his mother, who continues to mourn his loss along with his sister. Mary said that the support from family and friends has made the burden a little bit lighter to carry. 5 men were committed to stand trial at the High Court for the murder. So that there was the story of Mary Jagdale, who lost her husband. He was murdered while plying his trade. And we lost connection with Miss Mary, who is a school teacher, but she should be joining us in a few. But also in the studio with us is Roxanne Duncan. Earlier you would have seen her story. Her husband was murdered while trying to make peace between two persons who were fighting. And Roxanne is in the studio in Georgetown, Globespan studio in Georgetown, with her children. And right after the show, they're going to be heading to church. Roxanne, I want to know, why did you decide to come out and speak about what has happened to your husband? Because I know things are very, very fresh. This only happened like 2 weeks ago that your husband
2 weeks.
Yeah, that you know, the tragedy struck. Why did you decide to come and to speak about and to share your story?
I decided to come out because I still looking for justice, and I feel if I do all of these and I come out, it's gonna be worldwide, it's gonna be on television, and that I need justice for my husband, and it will show. And then even though he killers out there somewhere, probably he would look in, people would look in who know him, and this would able for help he turn in himself also. So is these things why doing is not naturally I doing it for me. I doing, if any television want me to go up and speak, I will go, because of the sake of my husband. I need justice, so I will keep on going until them find my husband killer wherever he is out there. So I do all of this for my husband. It pain to come on the show, yes, it hurting. I didn't make up my mind to do this thing, but I know with these things it could help bring justice to my husband then.
If you could say anything to the person who allegedly murdered your husband, what would you say to him?
I would tell him that wherever he is, that he could turn in himself. He destroy a family, a loving family, a poor family, a father who's look out for his children, a loving father who love his wife and love his children. And wherever he is, his family or anybody looking at, they could speak to him. He could turn in, come and say something, do something. Here, because he left these little boys grieving. My daughter cost them so much to her father. She was our father lover, and when our father died, when this baby conscience, like 2 days, her father didn't come down. This child takes sick. She ended up in Georgetown Hospital. She spent 3 days. She couldn't breathe properly. She was grieving so much, and it's just a hurt. He don't know we do. Devon doesn't trouble people. My husband is not a problem child. He's not a fighter. He doesn't get into problem where he living and so. And I don't know the reason why this guy killed my husband. If he could just confront, let me know the reason why he do it, I would feel good about it. But wherever he dead, I would just like for he come out. I would just like for he come out. If he have children, he have mother, he have sister, he have brother, and they could feel the pain with me in this term feeling, even though my husband, mother, my sister, them, and my husband, they are very close. And if you know he's hurting a whole family, a very big family hurting. Every day is tears in this family. In my family, in my husband, mother, brothers and sisters, in my sisters, them, Just playing every day. 'Cause out Devon was so fun, full loving. He like make joke. He like his skinny teeth and these things. There's Devon. And if he could confront wherever he do, wherever he there, it will be good for me.
Okay. All right, we're joined again by Miss Mary Jagdeo, as I said, and you would have seen the video prior to this.
Yeah.
Her husband was murdered 2 years ago. About 2 years ago. Miss Mary, it's been this period of time. How have you been coping with it? Does it get easier? I think, well, Miss Mary has some technical difficulties because her video is paused, but we are hoping that we're going to really be able to speak with her about the circumstances too, because as you would have seen in the video, when her husband died, she found out 2 weeks later that she was pregnant, and it was quite a bit to deal with. So she seems to be having some technical issues, but I know she really wants to share her story and for people to understand how senseless these things are. And I want to know, Roxanne, what would you say to people? Because this seems like it was like this heat of the moment, and sometimes we make such rash decisions in the heat of the moment, and look at how your family is affected. What would you say to young boys? At least the kids are happy and they're playing. And I know you said your daughter was in the hospital for like for a couple of days.
3
Was
days.
she, yeah, was she ever sick or anything before?
Pardon?
You're saying that she was in the hospital for a
Yes.
few days, and you're saying that it's as a result of her father's death.
Yes, because she was grieving a lot. She was grieving when she realized, like 2 days, our father died. This baby stayed just and take sick. She stopped eating. She even had a cold come along with it. And the last night for the wake is when she took in and was rushed to Georgetown Hospital.
So what
And
was
she
the
breathing was, her breathing, she couldn't breathe properly, and then she didn't eat in from the day she father died, the July the 29th. And she didn't eat in at all, and it like weakened the system. She was crying and so on, grieving a lot. So it like weakened she, and she ended up in Georgetown Hospital. She had to take oxygen, she had to take saline and so on. She spent 3 days and she was discharged out. But since she come out, she happy a little now, because every day I would show she father picture, and so, and I feel like she gets over the grief and little.
yeah,
And
she
so
seems to
now,
be
but
doing better. All right, so as we continue, I'd just like for you all to hear this video of Roxanne's husband, his mother, speaking about her loss as a result of this tragedy. But as we continue, as I was telling you earlier, and as you can see, our topic is senseless murders. And you know, sometimes we all make decisions, we all get angry, but we really, really need to think before we act, because from all accounts, Roxanne's husband was at a bar, and there was this fight that broke out, and he attempted to make peace. And as a result, he was shot and killed. And I know a lot of the times too, we make decisions, and then when we really have time to process things, we have the time to process things, then, you know, we regret and we hope that we can go back in time and change things. And so we don't have to go back in time to change things. We just have to, you know, get a hold of our anger and not allow things to escalate and to spin out of control. Because when we make decisions, it doesn't just affect us, it affects other people, like is the case with Roxanne and her 6 children, her husband's mother and his family, his sisters and brothers and everyone else who's deeply affected by this. Now you have a woman with 6 children who has to find a way to fend for herself and for them. And already this is not a family that was rich. They live in Sophia. And this woman now has to find a way to ensure that her children, they're not hungry. So we really need to be rational. We really need to think before we act when we're making certain decisions. And then we have the issue with the taxi driver who was murdered in Guyana recently over a taxi fare. I mean, when you really sit and we sit on the outside and we think about these things, are these things really worth it? And so we need to be wary not to ever have ourselves in any situation like this. We're trying to get both of the women back on air. But again, I'm so inspired by Roxanne, by Miss Mary, that they're able to come on and to share their story. And they want to share their story because they want for you, the public, myself, for us to understand the impact that these things have on people's lives and for us to make better decisions. And so I don't know if that clip is ready with Roxanne's husband, his mother, speaking about her loss. And then hopefully we can get the women back on the air as we continue the conversation, because they want to advise young boys. They want to advise all of you in general about this issue, and to talk a little bit more about the process to really heal, even though you never really truly heal, but with time everything gets easier. So let's take a look at this video.
Life will never be the same for Roxanne Duncan after the life of her husband and the father of her 6 children was cut short this morning in a shooting at Cetus Bar in Station Street, Kitty. The woman was overcome with grief when she learned that the main breadwinner for her family was taken away from her. Dead is Devon Kurt Duncan, 32, of Pike Street, Kitty. According to a police report, the bar was about to close when a scuffle ensued between a female and a male who was washing the floor of the premises. The police report added that the victim intervened and reportedly assaulted the male cleaner, and during the process, the suspect, who was seated nearby, allegedly whipped out his firearm and shot Duncan. Duncan was shot in his chest area. Speaking to this newscast, the dead man's wife was at a loss for words as she seeks answers for the motive of the killing.
I understand how Devon get shoot and kill. Devon don't trouble nobody. Devon is not a person who gives himself in problem. How Devon could get shoot and kill. All I want to know, and I just like to see. Honest to God, I can't keep it in the person who do it, because Devon, he got to get some reason. Devon don't trouble nobody for nobody shoot Devon and kill him. He don't trouble nobody. He don't trouble people for it. I don't know, they said. I don't know. I don't know why. Oh my God. Why? I would like to know, honest to God, is who do it.
She said she last saw her husband around 7 last night when he left her mom's Beefield Sophia home to feed the dogs at his home.
Nobody. This is me husband. I know we live for 50 years. He don't trouble nobody. Most is a person, if you see people getting in a little thing and they see there with a friend, he try to say, man, yeah, calm down and humble and them thing. But and God word. I would like to see what they have to say about it, because there is nothing they could say about it, get a reason and a cause make them kill me husband. Nothing.
Duncan says her husband's death is a big blow to her family, and she is now left alone to raise 5 boys and 1 girl, all below the age of 13.
Listen, I got to get reason. I not want the wife or want the mother, where their families just get killed just like that and left it like that. I ain't giving up. I got to get a reason why. I ain't giving up for nothing.
Her 12-year-old son said his father had promised to get him a bicycle today.
I feel to set up for me a bicycle.
There are reports that the suspect, who is an ex-member of the Guyana police force, fired the fatal shot. He is currently being sought by the police as their investigations are ongoing. The building has security cameras all around, and the footage obtained from the bar can help the lawmen identify the shooter.
Hello?
Yes, so we're back on the air, and due to technical difficulties, we do not have Miss Mary on video, but we have her on voice to share her story, where her husband was killed about 2 years ago during an armed robbery. Miss Mary, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, so thank you again for being on the show. And you know, I just wanted for you to speak and to share your story. How have you been coping with the death of your husband? I know it's 2 years, but you know, the kids and everything, how have you been coping?
Well, as I may say, it has been really tough. But for one fact, I know that I am a fighter,
Yeah.
and I would have had to overcome a lot of obstacles. But the main aim is the 5 kids that are involved in order to ensure that they still have the life that their father would have wanted them to have.
Yeah.
So I was listening earlier, and I can empathize with Roxanne. And her kids are, I think they're smaller than mine.
Yes.
So it's just the beginning. Listening to her, there's so many other aspects of her life. For me, it was like I've lost everything. At times, sometimes even you question your purpose of living, and then you look at, okay, this is the main person in your home, the head of your home, and then you got to go about living a normal life, putting a smile on your face, and still try to be you. And in the beginning, people will come up and say you're so strong, and it's like for me, like I had no idea what they meant when they're telling me you're so strong. But after 2 years, I think I can pick up that because of how much I have overcome grief wise, just you have life, you have to live, you still have to make everything comfortable for the children because you realize too how special life is. A day would not come back, today would not come back tomorrow. And then, like, if grief, you're taken up with grief, then you don't get to live. And then you can't go turn back time and bring back next year, the year that gone or the week that gone. So amidst all the pain and the grief, you still have to. And it's so important to have male in our society, especially fathers. And it's sad when you listen to the news. And it's not like fathers that don't care for their family or father that makes children and walk away. These are fathers that want to be there for their children, want the best for their children, and they are the ones being taken. If you talk, people will, like you would hear it, people are going through wars, things happen. There are things you would hear, but at the end of the day, everybody has to process their home situation. And it all deals with a relationship you share with that person that is going to make the difference. For me, memories of my husband will forever be in my heart. I will cry every day for him. I will miss him. The kids will miss him every day. You have to deal with holidays and occasions and when they are not there. Then when they go to school and they're like Father's Day, you have to make cards, you have to do stuff. I'm dealing with children too. And then you have single parent, and then it's like I'm in the same boat with these children. That's how my kids will feel. And you have to teach certain topics. Which family do you belong to? And those are things that just bring back fresh memory to you to, well, okay, this is my situation now. It's not something we want, it's not something we set out, things happen, yes, but to accept that. And I'm not even sure if it's fully accepted on my side, but I really fight really hard. So wanting to be me, I'm a jovial person and I like to laugh, and at the end of it all, I didn't want to lose me. So it's a daily struggle, a daily fight. Dealing with the children, 5 kids alone and work, like It's just unthinkable. And then I'm studying Roxanne, who is now working. I can only imagine because her husband was the sole breadwinner in their home. And it's
Yeah.
like, as you entitle it, senseless killing, like for what reason? These are persons that have family. Society will know that they have family. Why you could do so many other things, but then why kill?
Yeah. And Mary, you said something that, like, when I spoke to you, you would have taken that bullet for your husband. That's something that still, strikes me.
And it's something I would still argue with anybody who may want to question if my life was not important. Again, I would say, is the relationship you share with someone. He was so full of life and he had this passion for living out. He's just anxious and excited about everything. Even if we're going on a trip to the back dam, it's like big excitement. Like he was just too jolly and like I would have. That's something I would never ever take back. Never ever. And with Roxanne, she mentioned how close he was with his family too, likewise Damon. So you try to imagine a mom losing her only son, her firstborn. His sister, that's her only brother. And he was well welcome in our family. So I was like, just like if it's my sister, like if it's their brother, or my mother, it's like if he was her son. So it's not just one set of people. Like, and I would be greeted with customers of dating that every time they look at me, it's like this story just appears fresh again. It has been 2 years, close to 3 years. February is going to be 3 years. And even if you have to see certain parts, like if you relive in the story every time, it's still that fresh.
Yeah.
I cry every day for my husband, and I will cry every day. There is nothing that will happen in my life that's going to erase that part. And especially with my little daughter, it's hell dealing with her because of the closeness that he had with her dad and all the other kids too. Then I have to deal with baby. Like, what question would he ask about his father? He has no clue.
Because he's never met his
And he
father. When you got
yeah,
pregnant,
he
it
doesn't
was
know.
your husband already
Yeah, then
died.
I also have the eldest. Um, I'm a bit scared of too. He has never said a word. He would not engage in any conversation because I even tried talking to him during this holiday a day hug up because he's a splitting image of his dad. And I'm like,
Yeah, he
you have
is.
never said anything. Anybody asks you, you're not. But they're going to come a day when it's going to digest that daddy is no more. You could be in your 20s, you could be in your 30s at any point. I don't know what you're going to do when it does because he just ignored the fact that it happened without
Wow.
really. He thinks that he is handling it. The
And
second
so,
one would have cried a lot. There was a lot of tension in our home, acting out. We've been to hell and back. But today I'm thankful to God that amidst it all, I've lost my faith. I've questioned God, everything. But I'm at a point today where I know for a fact that my faith has grown and I live every day believing in God and trusting Him that whatever He had planned for me and Dana, that it will come true. Because for our kids, the father will always say his kids are his blessing. People don't walk up to you and ask you how much money you have. They ask you how many kids you have. So they were destined to be blessing to us. They are going to be blessing. I'll do anything it takes for my kids to ensure that they have the best, just like how their dad would have wanted. And with God, they are going to have it. Last year or earlier, maybe I could not have speak like this because you go through different phases. The grief,
yeah.
and I would say my intense grief lasts for close for a year. Where I wasn't feeling anything, I didn't care, and it was really, really hard. And people would say stuff to you, and especially when people grieving, like people come and tell you, oh, God takes the best, God knows best. It makes you, the grieving person, question, why give you the best if He takes the best? And so whatever we say to people during grief, it also have a lot of prayer would work, a nice word, selective words of encouragement, because you don't know how that person is processing that grief.
Yeah, very true.
And
Uh,
if only people can value like how special life is, like just to just ease the senseless killing. Like it affects so many persons. I could have run off my head. I could have committed suicide. His mom could have tripped out. Like one incident can cause so many things to so many other persons. If only we could
Yeah.
think. And then you have persons in society who don't really show appreciation to their parents, and there are others who long if they could even see theirs for one day.
True.
So by saying this, I'm just hoping that it's a motivation to even fathers and kids out there. I can remember clearly when Damien got shot and I was processing it. I'm like, we've been reading about people being killed every day, and if it feels like this, how come nobody's doing anything? So even when I did the candlelight vigil, and I'm looking at, I don't think I can go and listen back what I said, but as I was trying to write what I want to say about parents and children, whatever I can remember saying those things, like in good moral, the whole week in school, I think I was explaining to my kids about good morals and value and not to envy people. And at the end of it, in the middle part of it, he ended up and died. And I can recall clearly, I'll never forget how painful that was. And I was confused, wanting to know how come nobody's doing anything to stop this. Because for me, I didn't want anybody else to feel the way I was feeling. Like, it's like you just want to die. Like, it's unimaginable pain. But then you realize when you have to deal with society, then you have to go through the system to know if it's right, if it's wrong. But I still think more can be done to help our country in having our human resource being killed.
Yeah. And I wanna go to Roxanne now. Roxanne, what advice would you give to young boys? I know that, and men in general, fathers, boys who are involved in certain criminal acts. Roxanne is joined by her children in the studio, and again, I can't stop saying how really nice these children look. But what would you say to young boys? And you have 5 boys that you have to raise now without a father, Roxanne. What's next?
I will.
It's okay. I know it's a lot. And we're very, very thankful that you decided to do this to talk to us. But I know that you're worried as well about your boys.
Yeah. Um, Concerning my boys, my 5 boys who I have to raise, I speak to them every day. Since their father was shoot and kill, I just talk to them. I just tell them that it have a lot of ignorant people out there, very ignorant and hasty, and there's no need to choose the bad road. There's no need to pick up the gun and do nothing to people. Because one of my son, he would say when his father now died that when he get big, he would kill the guy if he get catch would do it. So I would sit down and I would talk to them. I would tell you that there's no need to do that. There's no need to take a revenge. The reason why I keeping them in church, growing them up in church, because I want to get them activity with God, acting things with God. They in some clubs. One is in Pathfinder, one is in Adventure, and 2 is in Pathfinder, 2 is in Adventure Club, and I get a little 4-year-old, he's in Little Lamb. And the reason why I doing this is to get them mind away from the things of the world, and so they could focus to be good boys, better man in times to come. And so I don't want him to be violent or ignorant or being hasty to people, because what happened, I get my 7-year-old and then he get away. Sometimes he would talk like there is no forgiveness. He wouldn't forgive the guy that killed his father and these things. So my sister them from my church and me, I just pray to God that even though he take my husband's life away, sometime or the other, that God would help me to forgive he and
Yeah.
his family.
Yeah.
Here, so in order to get forgive, we have to forgive others, and so I would speak to me boys and tell them no need to be ignorant. Time coming, you're gonna be teenager now. It's not teenager now, and don't follow the bad road. I just tell them don't go down the bad road. Not too much company, no liming, because when you're with liming and you're with friends, friends just mislead you, get you doing things on the other side. So I just encourage them a lot. I keep them in devotion, a lot of devotion we do at home. I just get them reading them Bible, reading books, and these kind of things. That is what I get them in. Things that I would keep them off from the streets and so. Another thing, I would get them in with me, for them to sit down, talk about the death with them father get and so, and how to cope with it, how to deal with it, and these kind of things and so. Cause I want my young man, them too, is five of them. I have five boys, and I gotta raise these five boys. Whether how it takes, I have to raise these five boys, and I want to raise them to be better man. I want them to raise to be good teenager boys, and in times to come to be better husband and better father in times to come and so I just encourage them what to do is right and so, and try get the most patient and so with them. I just try to talk to them every day and so, cause I don't want none of my boys them to go out and follow violence and be
Yeah.
ignorant and angry at people and hurting people, because it gets some people when things like that happen to their family, they would grow up, especially boy children, and then they would say like, man kill me father, I don't have time with nobody, and I gonna do what I got to do and these kind of things. I don't want it for my boys. I just talk to them. I just let them know being violent, being ignorant is not the way. Their father was never a violent person. He was never ignorant and these things. And I don't want them. I talk to them every day because I need five good boys.
You'll
And in
get
times
five
to come,
good boys.
yeah.
And Miss Mary, you touched on it a little bit about fathers really playing their role, because we do have some fathers who are not, who have not taken their place in their children's life. What would you say to those fathers, and what would you say to our men who are looking and listening to you?
Okay, that's a very good question because everybody know most of our male. If you go to the prison, you can see how many of them are there. Before I touch on that, I love the part Roxanne mentioned about forgiveness, and she's in a way better position than I was at my time. Like I was in shock and denial for a very long time. Forgiveness deals with our own self, as in not dealing on like dwelling on the person that for me they whoever do what they had to do, they don't hold a place in my heart. So forgiveness sets me free.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I will forgive them, but I leave the story at the foot of the cross for God to have his way and for God to make his judgment that he seems fit, because he would know the reason why those things were allowed to happen. So in the instance that the question you asked me with the father too, it goes both ways, because you have children also who do not, especially the young kids of today, they do not appreciate what their parents are doing, or some mothers
Yeah.
acting as fathers, and they take things for granted. Like for me, like I just want people to see like and to know how special life is. In a way, imagine you won't have all this conflict to deal with if you have people thinking more about peace. And for father that will make their kids like my little girl was 3 years old when her father died. And up to today, she doesn't forget anything about him. And that would speak of the magnitude of love and affection and care that he would have instilled in his family. That it's still fresh in the mind of his kids. If a 3 year old can remember everything about her dad. And it shows how
Yeah.
important it is for fathers to be there. Because when your kids like turn into teenager adult, they're thinking differently. So it's very important in the beginning phase for you to empower, like to, because I know my kids, the boys, I'm observing them, they're trying to do everything like daddy. Daddy like basketball, daddy likes to play game, daddy like this, daddy likes to cook, and daddy could have done everything and anything. And you could see that they want to be like him. So like he was their role model. So in that way, it helps. I like how Roxanne is saying with her 5 boys, she wants them to grow up to be person in society. So you don't want your kids to grow up and don't know right from wrong. And then things do happen, yes, we don't have control over. But at the same time, we try our best to train our children so that they grow up to be respectable,
Yeah.
well educated, and respectable young men and girls in our society. And everybody know the love of father, especially with their daughters.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, like, when these things happen, if you don't have a good support link of friends, family, church, like, you could do anything. You could go crazy. You could run off. For me, I think prayers are still going up for us. And I think it's prayer that has brought us thus far. Like, so many pastors have reached out to me. And I even had this pastor all the way from England that came twice with his team, Sister Valerie, Pastor Roy. I had Pastor Shadin, Pastor Mark, Pastor Bender, Pastor Patrick, my own pastor, Pastor Shirley. There's so many pastors, so many, Pastor Alvin, and they have been there with us throughout. Pastor Charles, and I didn't want to call name because I didn't want to miss any name, but all the pastors that were there throughout these 2 years, even right now, if I need them, I can have them. They're that supportive
Yeah.
and that prayerful to us, church members, my friends, close friends, far friends, whatever, family members, in-laws, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my mom, my sister. Like, there's so many people, my neighbor. I have a lot of adopted mom. Like, this support was there and still is. So I've never really like did a big thank you to everybody because if it wasn't for them, and I like the part where Roxanne is saying that together with his family and her family and friends, and that's a support link. Even if you have a few persons that check in and help, God will make a way, and those are the persons God sent along to help. Everything I see as a blessing, no matter how small it is. My walk, my trial for 2 years, that it has not been easy. When I moved from my school to the next school, all those changes. You had death, you had pregnancy, you had sickness, you had movement, then you have to show up to work, then you have to manage your home, then you have to manage your kids. And like, it's just unimaginable.
Yeah.
But in it all, I'm still thankful. I cry every day, I grieve every day. That will be a part of my life. And I just wish all fathers, especially when it was like Father's Day, and I don't really like Christmas and all those holidays. I blank them out. Being home for this holiday has been really hard. And that's when the missing link comes in. So those who have life, like just look at how special life is and just make the best out of it. It goes for both mothers, fathers, children. Like, you don't want to have any regrets in
Yeah.
your life ever. I
Uh,
have no regrets with my husband for all the years we've lived because everything is trial and error. And we always try to sort things out in the simplest of way and try to live as loving as possible. So you have a plan of growing old with this person, and you totally understand each other, and there's the kids involved, there's the help involved, and then one morning you just wake up and it's all gone.
thank you so much, Miss Mary. And as we move to wrap up, I wanna ask Roxanne. Roxanne, what's next for you and your kids? I know it's early, and also I must highlight that you have been getting support, as you also said. You have been getting support from the government, from Minister Brooms, the Brooms Foundation, and a lot of other kind-hearted people. What's next?
What next? What next with your kids? What next?
Okay. Well, what many kids looking
What we looking forward to do, well, the place where we used to live, we have to move very soon. And it gonna be hard. So many boys, we preparing, making up we mind to go to move, cause we have to move and start. We gotta say start a whole new life over again with me and the boys them again. So this is what next for me and the boys them. Just starting over our life all
Where are
over
you
again.
moving to? Do you have another place that you're gonna go to? Where are you
For
going?
now, yes. For now, I going on by my mom to
Oh.
stay, cause the place where we living in, is not a land. It's a GPL reserve, and my husband was to do some fixing up and repairing on it, and it it not is in appropriate condition now for many boys them to stay there. So we moving until something could be done for us. So we going by my mom and stay.
And
So
in
this
term,
is
so it's a lot of adjustments that you have to make after losing your husband, moving because and that's not
yeah.
your choice. You have to move. And what about looking after these children, maintaining them? How are you going to do that?
Well, with the grace of God, I haven't support from certain people. Yes, thankful to Simon Brooms and my chairman for my Sophia, Akim, Peters, and overseas people. They're giving them condolence and they contributing with things and so for the kids. But for me, I will be going out. I used to work at a school, the Seven Days Adventist Academy. Um, June before my husband died, and they called me Saturday, last week Saturday, and asked me if I was able to come out back to work September. So I tell them, they said I could get somebody for work in this space of time until I get over it, but I said I will go out back to work September. Kite would be able to help me get over certain
Yeah.
things and so with my husband lost. So September, I will be back at work September. God's willing.
Roxanne, you are amazing. I don't really have words. You're amazing for doing all of this, extremely strong, and all of this is because of the God you serve. It's very evident
Yes.
that your faith is very strong, and you are going to get over this, and your children will get over this, and all of these children, they are going to make you proud.
Yes.
And Miss Mary, any closing words?
Hello?
Um,
I would just like to thank you to also Tracy for sharing our story. Hope I know for a fact it will. Somebody may like learn something from it all,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
somebody may be going through something and maybe something we would have said could have helped them. Because in it all, we all have life. We wake up every day. And thank you also for taking your time in helping to share our story and for checking up on me, Progress Support. You joined the list of support link that I have, and I'm thankful to God for that. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for my kids. God knows the reason why He placed me in this situation, and He knows what He has planned ahead for me. I don't know what it is because I've been going through a lot of challenges. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. But I'm happy that I have my faith and I have loving people around. So I'm so thankful for that.
Thank you so much, Miss Mary. Roxanne, any last words you want to say?
Yes. I wanna say I thank you and thank Royston for what he have done for us. And even wasn't for Royston, most of our support coming from Royston, and we want to thank him. We want to thank you also, and I want to thank my sister. Them they are being very supportive. My mother-in-law, my big sister Sharon, Janet. These girls are being very supportive for me. My church also, and I want to thank everybody who has been sending their contribution and helping us and giving us words and so to overcome what we're facing
our loved one death and so I want to give thanks to all of these people. And even thanks to, sorry,
That's okay. Go ahead,
I don't
Roxanne.
know the lady name, but speaking with us. I want to give she a special thanks to because she spoke words and the words that what she spoke it gave me courage and it helped me to know that since 2 years since our husband was shooting killed that she is still coping and going along with life and with
Yeah.
she experience it will give me also courage to move on with my death also and I want to thank her and she kids them.
Thank you so much, Roxanne.
Yeah.
Miss Mary and Roxanne, thank you so much. You two are a major blessing. I know that a lot of people are touched and inspired by everything that you have said, encouraged, and will want to go on and cherish life and be motivated regardless of what we're going through. Because, you know, in life we go through so many ups and downs, but we can't give up because life is a beautiful thing. It's precious. And I have on the line Pastor Lisa, who is a part of this platform, Globespan24x7.
Yeah.
And Pastor Lisa just wants to offer some words of encouragement and to pray with you ladies. And, you know, we've said a lot of thank you. We must thank Globespan, Mr. Nohar Singh, Pastor Lisa, for this platform that we can sit and we can have these conversations and people can be blessed and encouraged and motivated. So, of course, thanks to Globespan for what they're doing, and you know we pray that they're going to continue. So I'll now bring in Pastor Lisa.
Hi, good morning, Tracy.
Hi, Pastor. Morning.
Morning. Thank you again for the opportunity to just be here, be part of this this program this morning. I've been watching online, and my heart is so overwhelmed at the strength of these women and the boldness and the authenticity of just being able to share their heart, the truth about it. And it made me just stop for a moment and value my husband. And, you know, we can take it for granted so easily. We can take life for granted, as Mary was saying. You know, you have everything, you take it for granted sometimes, and then one day it's all gone. Yeah. So it is heart-wrenching. And I just want to really commend them for their strength, and I just wanted to offer a word of prayer, if that is okay, for both of them.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I appreciate that. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Father, as we come before you this morning, we just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be able to come into presence and just, you know, to stand in the gap with these women, for Roxanne and for Mary, their strength, their voice, oh God, that would be a sense of encouragement for those who are going through the same thing, facing these hardships, oh God. I just lift them up before you. I cannot understand their pain totally, but Father, they did touch my heart, and I just want to pray for them. I pray for Mary that she will continue, as she said, oh God, you know, she's facing challenges, and you are the only one that knows deep down what she's going through. But I pray that the purpose for her life, oh God, will continue to play out as she rests and trusts in your love for her and your plan. You wrote the plan for her life, and we do have an enemy of our souls which have come in and destroy. The operation of the enemy is to steal, kill, and destroy. But we have a promise from God that says, all things work together for good to those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose. And I pray that the purpose for Mary and her children will come to fruition. It will come to pass. No matter what has happened, she's going to be a voice and an advocate. She's going to be an encourager. Her children will rise up and call her blessed. They will stay on the path of righteousness. And Father, that she will lean hard on you to raise them the way you have intended for them to go. I pray for Roxanne this morning, such a powerful, strong woman of God, and thank you for her and her children. I pray, I hear her heart, oh God, and I see that she's not depending on herself, but she is depending on you. you. And I pray that you will continue to give her wisdom and strength to raise her boys. And I pray that her boys and her girl will rise up also and call her blessed, that she will find strength when everyone else is asleep and they don't know what she's going through, Father, that you will make yourself known to her. So real, oh God. So make yourself tangible to her. Give her the courage to just take it one day at a time, oh God. May you open up the doors for her, for provision for her boys to always have the best, for her little girl to grow up as a woman of God. I pray that justice will be served. I pray, Father, that you will soften the heart of the shooter this morning, that after hearing this and seeing the lives that has been laid in the balance, oh God, that you will soften his heart. Soften his heart to come forth and to understand that a life has been placed, so many lives have been placed in the balance because of an action. I'm not praying, God, that for hateful feelings. I pray that you'll give them the strength to forgive, because as she said, if we want God to forgive us, we have to forgive also. I pray for all the fathers that are in presently at home, being good fathers. We hardly ever hear about good fathers. We're always hearing about fathers that have left and fathers that are drunk and fathers that are abusive. But God, there are fathers out there that is staying and is good men, and we ask you to continue to cover these families with your blood. Protect them. Protect the husbands that are rising up and going out there and making a way for their children. They're loving their children. They are present fathers. God, I'm praying for protection for those fathers, Lord, that you will keep them. And for these two women and their children, oh God, my heart goes out to them, but I pray that their purpose and their destiny will be fulfilled in spite of. I pray that they will find the courage every day. I thank you for the people that you've put around them to support them. May there be more people rising up, not to offer words like if we know it all, like Mary said, but words of encouragement, words to give them the courage to keep going, to keep doing what they're doing in the hard times when they feel like giving up. Oh God, may your strength be made perfect in their weakness. Provide for them financially, oh God, physically, emotionally. Oh God, I just cry out this morning for your help, for your intervention. I thank you that their purposes will be lived out in spite of this. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. And amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor Lisa. And again, to the ladies, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us, and everyone who are tuned in, who are giving words of encouragement. We thank you so much. I know that it will go a far way for the family. And I know that Roxanne is off to church with her kids. And so, Roxanne, we wish you the best. I admire you. You're a pillar of strength, and so are you, Miss Mary. And again, thanks to Globespan for this platform, and we will see you again another time. Take care and have a blessed weekend.
Okay, you too. You too.